If you're going to give me money, you can say, yeah, but I want a good DP. So do I. Oh, I want you to have a name in it. Well, so do I. You need to have just great talent from beginning to end. So do I. Well, why don't you have it? Because I don't have any money.
Brett Mauser and the cast and crew of Not So Sane Entertainment are attempting to make a movie with an impossibly low budget and hopefully inspire you to do the same. Can they make a movie with just $2,500? It's a long shot.
Now we're in the scheduling phase. We've got the script written. Now we need to know how many days it's going to take, what we're going to do, when, and who's going to be where on what day. So basically the scheduling. But before I can actually start scheduling it, I need to break each scene down so I have a coherent list of who's in what scene. So basically what I do is I take on my my note card, I just put my scene heading, exterior, abandoned building, night. I only specify on day or night when it's really got to be day or night. I know that scene really needs to be a night scene. And then I just put the characters who are in that scene: Benjamin, Janet, and Rabbit. And then I'll look over the scene real quick and I'll make an estimate as to how long I think it's going to take. And I'm going to say 2 to 3 hours. And I make that little note. And if there's anything that I specifically need for that scene, that it's kind of unique, that's something that's not going to be on every set, I'll put, like chainsaw, blood sprayer. Just a little mental note for me.
And 2 to 3 hours because of your experience.
Because of my experience.
Yeah. Something that might take you 2 to 3 hours could take somebody all day.
Right.
Or maybe 2 days, depending on.
Right. And I could, even when I make my predictions, I could probably always use more time. Mm-hmm. I'm always looking at, well, do I want this to be a 12-day shoot or do I want it to be a 6-day shoot? And I always want it to be a 6-day shoot. Yeah. I always want it to be as few days as possible. So I will say, there are times where I can look at something and go, I can't do this in 2 hours. I know that I've got to do that. So basically the way I do that is I'm looking at how long the scene is and how complicated the scene is. For instance, okay, there's the Connie and Jacob scene. You have Connie and Jacob starting off in one little area, and then they see the rabbit, and then they go over and they start talking to and messing with the rabbit, and then they go away. And then Lilith comes over and talks to the rabbit, and then she convinces the rabbit to go kill them, and then they go over to where they are, and they have a whole nother conversation. So the whole scene is like 5 pages, 6 pages, maybe longer. Actors, this is why it's very important for you to know your lines. If they know their lines, that's a oneer. I can get all that in one take several times. I mean, start the scene, play the scene out in that whole take. Then we do another take from a different angle. Then another take from a different angle. But it's them just doing the whole thing. And if they've got their lines memorized, bam, 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 it's done. They come in, memorized, they plan it, they speak it, and we block it out, and we're saying we go here, we move to here, we step, you start here, you come over here, Lilith, you come in here, and we block it out. And I know that the whole scene is about 5 minutes long. So, 5 minutes for each take. If I want to get 3 or 4 takes, now I'm looking at 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes just shoot time, then throw in another 30 minutes for prep time, depending on how intricate the scene is. I got an hour. Me being me, nowadays, I'm like, okay, but I'm going to double that, or I'm going to give it a little bit extra time, so I'm going to give it the 2 hours. So that's the mental process that I'm thinking about. In this particular scene, it's the abandoned building, where it's just the two coming out. They embrace. There's a couple shots here and there, but basically if they're just running the scene through, I know what angles I'm going to take. So I know I only need 3 or 4 takes, or I know we need one shot of Janet running out of the woods. So I can just get at that real quick. I don't need to do the whole blocking and everything on that. I can just tell the actress, hey, go into the woods, come running out screaming or whatever. Yeah. And then I do know that the difficult part is the two are hugging, and then they get the chainsaw shoved in them. And then it gets revved up and the blood just starts spraying out. So I know that you're going to be down there with the little sprayer squirting blood up in between them. And then I know the end shot, which is a low angle shot, kind of the rabbit walking up towards, starts walking away, then he turns, looks at the camera, walks up, and then slashes the camera. Now, I'm also thinking about those kind of things just from a logistics perspective. If odds are a scene like that is going to be shot with Jake. That's like a whole one night type thing, especially if we're shooting in the summer. Sun's going to go down at 9. We don't want to be there forever. If the sun goes down at 6 or 7 in the winter, it's a lot easier. You have more nighttime, but so we're going to be very limited on the night unless we work through the night. Yeah. So I know that I don't want to spend that on. I don't want to spend Brad's time on that one because it really isn't too Brad Bunny-ish.
Yeah, personality of the.
Right.
Bunny, yeah.
I know that Jake will do that, and I'm also thinking, okay, well, Jake got to know how far he can strike away from the camera, make sure that it's not this. I would like to use the steel blades, but since it's a camera, I'm going to be behind the camera. He's got the mask on, so he can't see. He's not going to be able to judge depth perception that well. I'm going to use the plastic Wolverine claws for that shot.
Okay.
I was like, maybe we could put plexiglass in front of the camera so he'd hit that and he wouldn't hit the camera.
Still,
it's still too much.
Yeah.
Just take the whole out of the equation. Take the mess out.
Take it all out of the equation. Play safe. So that figures into my prediction. So I'm going to say 2 to 3 hours to shoot that scene. Take my card, throw it on my pile, and then I just move on to the next one. Now I look at now the next scene is the dystopian home with Allison and Edward, which is the hologram stuff. So that I bring over my blue card. And again, this could be just white cards. These are just something I'm trying out new. But I'm using the blue card, and it would be the white card the same, but this just helps me identify it a little easier when I'm going through the schedule later. I'm just going to put the dystopian home. And I know it's, basically it's just always Allison and Edward. And for the majority of those, there's not many else. But I do know at the very last one, there's the Merc team. So I'm just going to put the Merc team on there. And then because I know that we keep cutting back and forth between this, I'm just going to name each little scene like, okay, intro, AI. And I'm going to say, well, that's a pretty long scene, and they're going to need some time to go over that. So I'm going to give them 2 to 3 hours for that. And then I'm going to set this aside because I know there's more coming. But so normally I would go and I would start doing some more do some more. And then I come to the next dystopian scene. I'm like, okay, Allison and Edward are sitting on the edge of the TV, jaws dropped at what they just seen. They look at each other and back of the TV and sink back to the couch to watch more. Then we're on to the next scene. So it's just a quick little thing. I know I can get that in 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. But for the purposes of this, I always give at least 1 hour. So I'm just going to make the statement, shocked, 1 hour. Set it aside. And then the next dystopian scene that pops up. Allison confused, and she has some dialogue. I look at that. That's going to take, not even an hour, but I'm going to put Allison confused. 1 hour. And I just go down the list, making it nice, making those little notes so that when it's time, because I know this is all going to be done on one day. So when I'm ready to shoot, I can just pull that, or when I'm ready to schedule, I just pull all of this information from that card. So again, set that aside. But now, had I just done the one, now we're off to the Old West streets. Just like I did before, the exterior, Old West streets, day. And I know Georgie, Pat, Pookie, Rabbit, and townsfolk. And it's a shootout. There's a little bit of effects in it, so I'm gonna say 2 to 3 hours. And the reason I can do that is because there's not a whole lot of dialogue, and I've already shot half a dozen old shootouts.
Yeah.
So I know what I'm going to shoot. I know, and it really is just getting this shot, getting that shot, getting that shot, getting this shot, and then moving on.
Gotcha.
There's that one shot where they have to split where he splits the bullet, but I'm aware I've done that before. I know how long it's going to take, so I figured that in. That's going to take 15 minutes maybe to do. And I know that when I'm shooting, I'm probably going to do it twice. I'm probably going to do one handheld and see how it works. See when I bring it into After Effects if the motion tracking works well, or I will have it just on tripod. So I've got that. Blemo, set that aside. That one's over there now. But if I'm working with somebody that I'm like, oh, Betty Boop is going to be in this scene. She hardly ever comes with her lines memorized. It's going to be this pain in the butt. So I'm going to have to give an hour just for her to get her lines down or whatever. So I'll say 2 to 3 hours.
Gotcha.
That might be another thing, is to put a little scene description on there so you know what the scene is. Because you may look at it and go, social media, conference, cafe, dead influencers, Lana, Nala, and Rabbit. And you're like, well, I don't know what scene that is. Well, I do, because I wrote it and I'm familiar with it, so I don't need to write the little scene description, but I would recommend putting a scene description so you can look at it and go, what scene is that? Especially if you got one that takes place at the same location with the same 2 or 3 characters several different times. And I just go down the line doing that with it, with each scene. And what that does is eventually gets you just this stack of notebook cards that now has all the scenes broken down with all the actors who are in it. I know that all my blue cards are things that I've set aside as just sort of days by themselves. So I can set my blue cards aside and I'll be able to wrangle those in. And then the red stuff is where I've got everybody in a scene. So that's got to be our primary day where everybody can be there.
Gotcha. It's a longer day.
Yeah. And then the white cards are all standalone scenes that can be placed anywhere. So if I've got time on one of these blue days, Bob's going to be there. Oh, this one, I can get this shot in there. And then I do have a yellow one in here. Or I should. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. And that's that's the Kerosene Drifters day, because there may be a movie that you have where somebody's coming in from out of town. Mm-hmm. This will be there's like a tag conspiracy where I know Ty and Dub are flying in or driving in from Colorado. Mm-hmm. So I've got to have all of his stuff in one kind of a segment, one time frame. So I got to set that stuff aside. And you're seeing how fast we do this. I mean, it's what you got here. We started this a little bit after 7 o'clock. Mm-hmm. We're going to wrap up, relatively shortly. And we'll have scheduled the movie in one sitting. Now, especially in the Ponderous days and still now, I still have to do a lot of producing myself. I have producers here and there. But one of the, especially in the Ponderous days, I had a tough time delegating producing to others. And then when I kind of restarted, when I came back to film after I went back to school, I tried making the Benders, and I tried bringing in a couple producers, and that movie is one of the reasons that I still maintain so much control over the producing, because I did say, okay, I'm going to delegate. I'm going to give people the chance to do this. I'm going to give them a shot to produce themselves. So I can let go and do something. And this was the first task that I gave one of them. It's okay. I need a schedule. Here's the script. Schedule it. And yeah, it was 2 weeks later. I said, where's my schedule? Is there a schedule? And they said, well, it's so tough. It's really difficult to do this. I said, come over tonight. So the two of them came down, we sat down, and we did exactly what I'm doing right now. And we did it in under 2 hours. And then they, one of them just wound up being a DP on it, or an ASPROD, just an associate producer, or a production department, just a production assistant on it. And then the producer dropped out, and it was just like, okay, well, you're never gonna make it in this game because I just showed you how to do it, and you got whiny and butthurt and left.
So have you said that kind of? You're never going to work in this town again?
I've never said that to somebody. And,
It's not in that exact way.
No. I'll say, I'm not going to say you're not going to work in this town, because it's not like I have some sort of control over who works in this town. But it's not my control whether you're going to make it in this. It's your choice whether you're going to make it in this game.
Man, you sound like the Andrew Tate of filming.
Brett and Joey have plotted out the new Serial Rabbit movie. With the script complete, it's now time to finish casting, find locations, and start shooting. But first, they're gonna have to schedule it. Sounds easy, but there's a lot of roadblocks ahead.
And if you